In today's video, we're going to specifically hone in on this drone, who is it for, and how it compares to its predecessor. Are you ready? Let's deep dive. This is the DJI Mini 3. This drone's been out for a little bit, and this boasts a 1/1.3 size sensor. Believe it or not, imagine taking this sensor out and putting it in the new DJI Air 3. That's pretty much what you have. Same sensor, same basic lens or camera. It's pretty much the Mini 3's camera that you have on the Air 3 as its main 24mm camera. Now DJI says that the algorithm is a little bit beefed up and it's a little special, making a better image quality compared to the Mini 3. This only has one camera. The DJI Air 3 has two cameras. Well, tell me about the second camera you see. No problem. If you have a Mavic 3 Pro, then the second camera is right here. You're staring at it. Picture pulling out this camera and placing it on the Air 3. That's exactly what it is. They pulled out this medium telephoto camera, which is a 70mm f2.8 aperture, and they plucked it right on the Air 3. Those are two good cameras, but no adjustable aperture in there. The drone is priced nicely at 15 something for the Fly More combo with the new DJI RC2, which has the OcuSync 4. Now let's talk a little bit about OcuSync 4. Is it a huge deal? Yes, if you like to fly from here to the moon. Will it handle the interference a little bit better than OcuSync 3? Yes, I think so. Is it anything mind-blowing? I really don't think so. When OcuSync first came out, that was mind-blowing because most of DJI drones were flying Wi-Fi. And if you were flying drones back in the Wi-Fi days like I was, then you know Wi-Fi is a pain and you get really short distance. So OcuSync on the whole is a massive upgrade. So will OcuSync 4 be better than 3? Yes, it will, but I don't think it'll be anything groundbreaking. I want to talk a little bit more about this OcuSync 4 because that brings the remote controller in. And that tells you that if the OcuSync 4 is not backwards compatible with this, or this is not forwards compatible with the OcuSync 4, then that tells you that the Air 3 is only the beginning of the change to all the new drones that DJI is about to release. Listen to me carefully. That means even if you own one of these, the DJI RC Pro, this guy as well is going to get a refresher at some particular point because it's not going to be compatible with the Air 3 because that's OcuSync 4 and this only can output OcuSync 3. And that means that DJI is getting ready to rest all of these controllers and put them to bed and start with a whole new lineup. And they did with the new controller like this, which has a fan in the back instead of just a heatsink. It has the antennas, which will give you a better transmission. Even the drone has more antennas. I think it's something like 7 antennas. So you should, in theory, get a lot better penetration. However, I will say that if DJI does make this compatible with the Air 3, then that's a sign that they will be keeping this. And this will be continuing to reign. But if they do not make this compatible, this RC Pro, compatible with OcuSync 4, then this is going to get sunset soon enough with the newer models, starting with the Air 3S. So bear that in mind. And this, you can forget about this. This $300 controller is probably not going to work either. Now, if DJI changes their mind or people are not spending enough money on this Air 3 because they're not happy with the compatibility, you know, there's a saying, let your money talk. If you let your money talk by not spending it, then DJI will do more to get your money. They might start doing some backwards or forwards compatibility. That way they can please you and make you want to spend. But if their sales do well and people spend their money, then there really is no need. So my first advice to you would be, do not buy the Air 3 if you're hoping for backwards or forwards compatibility with the older controllers versus the new and any kind of those drones working together. Wait until DJI says, number one, that they will do it, and then number two, wait until they do it before you go and you invest in the hope and then it's not compatible. So as long as you're willing to live with the fact that there may not be compatibility between the older drones, between the older controllers and the newer drones, and the newer drones and the older controllers, as long as you're happy with that fact, then you don't have to worry about spending your money. Now let's jump into the specs, because a lot of people are comparing this new Air 3 drone to the DJI Air 2S. And that's not really a fair comparison, and I'll tell you why. The Air 3 is actually an upgrade to the DJI Mavic Air 2. Yes, I don't know if you remember that drone. That was released before the Air 2S, and that was a great drone too. I covered that on my channel. I did lots of tutorials. That drone had an excellent zoom feature, and let's look and compare it. Now, let's give points to the Mavic Air 2 where it deserves it, and we'll give points to the Air 3 where it deserves it. So I've got on the left of my screen here, I've got the Air 3, and on the right side of the screen, I've got the Mavic Air 2. The Mavic Air 2 actually wins with weight. It's a smaller and lighter drone coming in at 570 grams, where the Air 3 is actually 720 grams. So yeah, the Air 2 wins in that category in terms of lightweight portability. When you look at ascent speed, means how fast it can come up and go down, the Air 3 smokes it at 10 meters per second, whereas the Air 2, the good old Air 2, is only 4 meters per second. So the Air 3 is pretty fast at climbing and dropping. Flight time 46 minutes versus the old Air 2 at 34 minutes. When you look at maximum flight distance, this one does, the Air 3 does 32 km. The Air 2 only does 18.5 km. How accurate those are, I don't know, but the range is definitely better. So the Air 3 is killing it there again. The Air 2 only does GLONASS and GPS, does not do Baidu. So the new Air 3 definitely wins. If you look at the Air 3, it's got a wide angle 1/1.3. If you look at the Air 2, it only has a half-inch CMOS. A half-inch CMOS is considerably smaller compared to a 1/1.3. It's a 12 megapixel 48 and a 48 megapixel. That's when they take the 12 megapixels, 12.2 is 24, 12.3 is 36, 12.4 is 48. 4 times combine four images and you'll get 48 megapixels. Is it a true 48 megapixel camera? No, but this is some cool camera tricks, as I like to call it, that will give you a really good image. So both have it, but this one, the old Air 2, just has a smaller sensor. So there is a sensor upgrade. The Air 3 does have a bigger sensor, so that's a huge update in by itself over there. Of course, the Air 3 has 2 cameras, whereas the Air 2 only has 1 camera and one camera with a smaller sensor. So that's a huge upgrade in the camera department. Now, as you can see, this one shoots normal, HLG, and D-Log-M. The Air 2 only shoots normal and D-Cine-alike. It does not have D-Log-M or doesn't even have HLG. So this is a huge upgrade for people who want to do some type of a little professional work. You have D-Log-M, not as good as D-Log, but D-Log-M is pretty darn good. It has a night mode. This doesn't even have a night mode, and the night mode goes up to 12,800 ISO. So that's super bright at night. A lot of algorithms working over there for this camera. This does 120 megabits, which is not bad. Here we go, max video bit rate 150 megabits, so it's 30 megabits faster than the old Air 2. The Air 2 only does 8-bit max. This one, the Air 3, can do 8-bit normal, and if you do HLG or D-Log, then you can get 10-bit 420, which is not bad. It's not 422, but it's 420, which is pretty good. Vision system, or what they call now sensing. This one has forward and backward and downward. That's available, right? Available dual vision downward sensor. So you have forward, back, and bottom, which is the same as the Mini 3. This Mini 3 is pretty powerful. It's got forward, rear, and down. Same thing with the old Air 2. The new one has forward, backward, lateral, which is sideways sensors, and upward. So even upward sensors this one has, so it can sense pretty much omnidirectional completely around the drone. And that is big time, because if you've never experienced a drone, say you're coming from something like an Air 2, Mavic Air 2, or you're coming from something like a Mini 2 or even coming from something like the Mini 3, but you want a little bit more capability, you want a little bit more protection when you're flying, then this drone has it, right? This drone can track and track really good. But if you're tracking sideways, there's no sensors at the side. You're on your own. You pretty much have to know what you're doing. At least with the Air 3, you have sideways sensors, you have top sensors. This doesn't have any top sensors at all. You have much more protection, especially if you're into tracking or you want to get into tracking. And of course, the transmission quality of the 04, which this one has OcuSync 2, 2.4 and 5.8 gigahertz. This one gives a 1080p signal back to your controller. So when you look at your controller screen, you're seeing a 1080p video. The old one, the Mavic Air 2, when you look at the controller screen, you're only seeing 720, which is not bad, but 1080 is much better than 720. Is this a huge upgrade? Yes, it is. When you look at the DJI Mini 2 or the DJI Mavic Mini, and you want to upgrade from that to the Air 3, it's a huge upgrade. Is it a huge upgrade coming from the Air 2? Yes, you saw it in the specs. It's got more sensing all the way around. It's got 2 cameras, and both cameras are better than the Air 2, Mavic Air 2 camera. So it's a huge upgrade from the Mavic Air 2. So if you had a Mavic Air 2 and you've never upgraded, you will love this drone. If you have a Mini 2 and you never upgraded, you will love this drone. If you have a Mini 3 and you've never upgraded, you will like this drone because of the more sensing capability and wind resistance and the option to have 2 cameras instead of 1. So yes, it is a bigger, beefier Mini 3 or a smaller, lighter Mavic 3 Pro, however you want to look at it. It is really good for what it offers in terms of sensor size. It is really good. May not have an adjustable aperture, but it's really good. It's a really good camera, a really good drone, a really nice all-around package that I think anyone will love and enjoy and fly. And if it fits your budget and it fits between your fleet, I say knock yourself out. Go right ahead if you want it. If you have one of these already, or if you have the Air 2S, is it worth it? Well, that's another topic for another video, because this video is running pretty long and I've got to wrap things up. If you found this information helpful, give this video a huge thumbs up and let me know in the comment section, what do you plan to do? Are you waiting for the Air 3S? Are you going to skip the Air 3 and jump to the Mavic 3 Pro? Are you going to be satisfied and happy with your Mini 3? Or maybe you're coming from a Mini 2 or a Air 2. And this is the time, and this is the drone that you've been waiting for because of the features it carries and because it's priced right. So leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. Give this video a huge thumbs up. I'm on Patreon, so check out the link in the description section and in the comment section for my Patreon account. Head over there, ask me any questions. I'll help you decipher things and figure things out for you if you're on the fence and you don't know whether to spend the money for this drone or not. $1,600 roughly for the whole package is still a lot of money. Is it worth it? Is now the time for you to upgrade? Should you stay and be satisfied with what you have? Any questions you have, hit me up on Patreon. I'll be happy to help you. I hope you found this video helpful, and I will catch you guys, well, whenever I can.